What's the adult version of there is no Santa Claus? You are on your own. No one is coming to the rescue. You aren't getting paid based on how good you are. You are paid based on how hard you are to replace. This is part of the story, but not all of it. I'm a college professor and I tell PhD applicants that success is based on two axes: how necessary your skill set is and how unique your skill set is. So a professor in the humanities, like me, makes a relatively crappy wage because while my skills are unique, that is, I'm hard to replace, they are not perceived as necessary by society. I'm stuck on one axis. A sanitation worker is stuck on the other axis. Their skills are totally necessary but not unique. A cardiac surgeon is far from both axes and thus makes a damn good salary. When they hire you on the spot, it's not because you're an amazing person with so many credentials. It's because it's a really crappy job and they desperately need to fill it for the third time this month. When I was in college and started applying for jobs, I wasn't offered the job on the spot, but one company, huge consulting firm, in particular was crazy fast with the hiring process. They were the first place that brought me in for interviews and I took the offer. I thought they were just super on top of it. Once I start and get inside, I see they have a huge turnover rate and just build up the bench to put people in all of these entry-level jobs that people keep leaving. They burnt people out fast, and because of the bench of people waiting to start these jobs, the positions were filled the next day after someone quit. Source: got burnt out at said company, left the job less than 2 years in. It's a lot harder to make friends after college. That is likely the last organic friend-making environment you will ever be in. That's reassuring considering I've nearly finished university and still haven't made any lasting friends. Can't wait to spend life alone. As long as you know you're cool, doesn't matter who comes and goes, cause that awesome person in you will always be there. For me it was finding out those HGTV shows are all more or less staged. I had a friend on one of those shows before. They were approached by the show through their realtor after closing for one of the house hunter style of shows. In other words, it's 100% scripted because you have to buy a house before you're even considered for the show. I wonder how many people got to see a better house when they were on the show and had buyer's remorse. When I learned this, it made a lot more sense why sometimes they chose a house that made you think, what the frick are they doing? If you work hard and are loyal to your company, they will be loyal to you. The sad reality is most large companies don't care anymore and will lay you off after being there for 10+ years. Even if you were a devoted and hard-working employee, always have a 6 months pay in the bank and always be networking to have your next job lined up. There are terrible, awful people in the world that get away with all of it and die peacefully in their sleep with no repercussions. There are people with hearts of gold who get continually effed by life for no goddamn reason. The adult version of there's no Santa is the universe doesn't care. Retirement is not a physical age. It is a financial state. Even worse is when retirement is a physical state, as in can't really afford to retire, but are unable to work. Unlike the Santa thing, the sooner you figure this one out the better. Your parents were just normal people trying to figure stuff out just like you. This honestly blew my mind when I came to that realization, but it also helped me to really connect with them, more so than when I was younger. Not quite an adult thing, but finding out that your degree doesn't automatically get you a job after graduation, and how much more important work experience is than education. On top of that, while you learn a lot of stuff in college, most of it won't really be relevant in your job and you'll learn everything for your job as you go. It's great that you can calculate differential equations by hand, but if you ever actually need that in the real world, you'll rely on a computer program to do it, and you'll have to learn that program as you go. Frankly, most companies won't want a person to do calculations a computer can do, because the margin of error for a computer is exponentially smaller than that of a human. You're a hard worker. You're fired anyway, because we're reducing headcount. But I was told working hard meant, yeah, Santa Claus. Employer loyalty is dead. My grandfather, who helped Raised me, taught me the value of workplace loyalty. If you work hard for your employer during good times and bad, your boss will be just as loyal to you. In my 20 years in the workforce, I can definitely say he was wrong. He wasn't necessarily wrong, just a product of a different time. There was a time when hard work and loyalty to the company was repaid with loyalty from the company, but that time is gone. All employees are disposable if profits decline. And unfortunately the longest tenured workers tend to be the highest paid, so fall under the microscope first. Then companies complain that workers aren't loyal and change jobs too easily. You probably won't have summers off. I'd say it's a little more definitive than probably, unless you're a teacher. That's what I was always told by friends and family who are teachers, and then they'd go and teach summer school. That sometimes terrible people will just keep being terrible and never have a change of heart or anything negative come of it. That often they'll benefit from being terrible. But I'd like to believe that no matter what, at least I don't have to spend my life being that person, and I'll be happier with even moderate success that isn't created by being an impossibly crappy person. And that's the closest I'll get to holiday spirit, even though there is no Santa. You really do have to do taxes yearly. I've saved millions in taxes by not earning enough to pay taxes. The only thing worse than paying taxes is not needing to, said no corporate accountant ever. The idea that once you graduate college, or get married, or buy your first house, or have your first child, that you'll reach happiness and stay there the rest of your life, save for the occasional sadness from death of a friend or loved one. Happiness will go up and down, nothing is permanent. Just gotta maximize and enjoy the happy times when you have them. I forget if I heard this or made it up, very likely the former, but I've always liked to remind folks that it's called pursuit of happiness for a reason. There is no end goal, and you'll never reach a permanent state of happiness. You have to seek it out constantly in your perception of reality, your mentality, your psychology, your actions and inactions, everything. Happiness isn't found in the end goal. The end goal is something you secure for the future. Happiness is a route you have to choose to take every day of your life. The winners on the Price is Right can't take the item home until they pay the sales tax. So if you are broke and win a car, you can't even have the car. My world was shattered. I have been schooled. People pay income tax, not sales tax, but in the state of California, that has to be paid before the contestants can take the items home. I read somewhere that they have lenders backstage to finance the tax, title and licensing. Also I believe there is a cash option as well. But yeah, definitely not as cool as it seems. I'd rather have the cash equivalent of most of that stuff. Anyway, definitely of the trips, almost none of them are something I would want to go on. And if you winter cars, give me the cash. There is no employer who won't frick you over for the bottom line. Just recently I got to watch a very loyal employee of 16 years who was very good at her job get let go because her department had to downsize 4 weeks before Christmas. This is of course at a company where they constantly talk about being family. Your job is never safe. No matter how loyal you are or how valued the company makes you feel. No rhetoric about family or how great of an employee you are will save you. You are expendable. Yup, I figured this out finally, and now I just hustle to make money for myself, not for anyone else. Lots of people were the smartest kid in their high school. My mom tried to get a lot of mileage from being the valedictorian of her high school, except she grew up in a very rural farming community and had 4 people in her graduating class. She would get defensive if you said there were only 3 other people to compete against by saying I got straight A's. There was a girl I knew who won a village beauty contest, 'cause she was the only one to enter it. Not only did she make a big deal of it at the time, and her parents did too, it was apparently one of the achievements she listed on her CV more than 5 years later. Promotions aren't always merit-based, and senior management people don't actually know what they're doing. I got a pretty serious promotion recently that I didn't have the required education for just by smiling at everyone and pretending to be positive and friendly. It wasn't worth it though, because now I can't draw a line between me pretending to be friendly and me just being friendly, so now I think I'm slowly becoming naturally pleasant to be around. drive sports cars, date movie stars, buy things that are not for sale. Who knows, Master Wayne? You start pretending to have fun. You might even have a little by accident. You're only really worth what you can offer to other people. True, but not quite as bleak as it sounds at first pass. Kindness, creativity, and non-judgmental here, etc. are valuable things, to many, not all, that can be offered. Yeah, I view this as a positive. Be a good person, or it doesn't matter what you do. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Don't forget to leave your stories in the comments below.